Welcome to Quran Stories Animated. In every episode, we share the timeless lessons of the Holy Quran, the stories of prophets, their trials and patience, their faith and obedience to Allah. These stories guide us, inspire us, and remind us of Allah's wisdom and mercy. Join us as we bring the words of the Quran to life. The morning breeze carried the sound of prayer. Sulaiman stood before his people in gratitude. He thanked Allah for every blessing. The sun rose over the valleys of Jerusalem. The birds flew above in perfect rows. The Jinn and men gathered for his command. Each stood silent, waiting for his word. Sulaiman said, "O people, remember Allah always." He raised his hands to the sky in praise. Peace filled the kingdom of faith. The wind moved gently at his command. It carried his throne wherever he wished. By Allah's will, the earth obeyed him. He traveled across lands and seas in a single day. The people marveled at his power. He reminded them, "This is a test, not pride." The clouds followed his path softly. The Jinn built palaces and bridges for him. They worked day and night in obedience. Sulaiman thanked Allah for every moment. One day, he walked among the builders. He saw towers rising with perfect beauty. He said, "Work with patience and sincerity." The Jinn bowed their heads in respect. He checked the measures with his own hands. No task was too small for the Prophet of Allah. He smiled at the workers with kindness. He said, "Only faith gives strength to the heart." The sea wind carried his words across the land. The people repeated them in remembrance. He looked upon the fields of his kingdom. Farmers harvested dates and grain with joy. The rivers shone like silver under the sun. Children played near the olive trees. The Jinn guarded the borders from harm. The birds spread messages across the lands. Justice ruled in every city and village. No one went hungry, and no one was afraid. The name of Allah was spoken everywhere. Sulaiman smiled with peace in his heart. One afternoon, Sulaiman sat in reflection. He said, "My Lord, forgive me and guide me." He looked at the horizon and thought of God. He whispered, "My father taught me gratitude." The wind moved softly through the curtains. Birds perched quietly near his window. He said, "We own nothing. All belongs to Allah." He rested his hand upon his chest in humility. The room was filled with calm light. He closed his eyes in silent remembrance. The Jinn came to him with news from far lands. They spoke of nations that forgot their Creator. Sulaiman sent them with letters of warning. He said, "Remind them that Allah is one." The messengers left swiftly through the wind. Their shadows moved across deserts and seas. Sulaiman watched and prayed for their success. He said, "Guide them, O Allah, to your light." The sky turned golden above his palace. The call to prayer filled the valley. Years passed, and his kingdom grew stronger. But his heart remained humble and soft. He judged between people with fairness. He helped the weak and comforted the poor. His throne was simple, his robe plain. He said, "Riches fade, but good deeds remain." He walked through the markets greeting all. Children followed him with laughter and joy. He smiled and prayed for every soul. The people loved him for his mercy. One morning, he leaned on his staff in silence. He watched the jinn working below. They thought he was deep in thought. Days passed, and he remained still. The workers continued, fearing his gaze. But Sulaiman's soul had returned to Allah. Only when a creature ate through his staff did his body fall gently to the ground. Then the jinn realized the truth of death. They said, "We know only what Allah wills." The people gathered in sorrow and remembrance. They wept and prayed for their prophet. The birds flew low, circling his resting place. The wind grew calm and still. His palace was silent except for whispers of dua. The jinn bowed in grief and respect. They said, "He was just and grateful. His wisdom remained in every heart. Faith replaced pride across the land." The world remembered Sulaiman, servant of Allah. The sun set softly behind the hills. The valley glowed in golden peace. The believers recited the name of Allah. The story of Sulaiman became a reminder for all that power and glory belong only to Allah, that gratitude is the highest form of faith. The wind moved gently through the palm trees. The birds sang the praises of their Lord. The people said, "All guidance is from Allah," and peace filled the earth once more. Thank you for watching Quran Stories. The stories of the Holy Quran are lessons for all time about faith, patience, and guidance. We hope this story inspired you and reminded you of Allah's wisdom. Subscribe and continue with us as we share more timeless lessons from the Holy Quran.